look what I just found in someone's purse I stole. My review of The Pleasure of Being Robbed. Okay, so I really didn't like the movie. It was my least favorite movie that we have watched so far. Um, One of the main reasons is because nothing happened in the film. There was no character development. For example, in the first scene, we see the main character, Eleanor, rob a woman. And then in the final scene, we see Eleanor shoplifting. She doesn't change at all in the movie, nor does she learn from the things she experiences in the film. And I think this leads to Eleanor being like a very flat, one-note character and really boring. I also hated the cinematography. It was always blurry, the camera was always jerky like that, and I know it's a low budget film, but I found this incredibly distracting and it like made my head hurt almost. The story of the film was also non-existent, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, there was no character development, and then this lack of character development combined with the lack of dialogue made the film really boring and feel like it had no plot whatsoever. Along with the film's lack of story, the few things that did happen in the film were never resolved, and they also didn't seem plausible. Like, what happened to Josh's bike? Why was Josh even in New York City if he lives in Boston? What was the point of Eleanor's fantasy about playing with the polar bear in the zoo? I could like go on forever naming all these things. So overall, I found myself wondering what was the point of watching this movie and what was the point of even making this movie. So now for my portion where I review the Q&A. The Q&A with Joshua Safdie, who directed and co-wrote the movie, really didn't change my opinion about the film. He didn't even seem that interested in his film. He spent most of the time talking about this really interesting story of how he met the man who funded his movie. And that story I would have so much rather watched as a movie than watch The Pleasure of Being Robbed. The only other thing I liked about the Q&A was when Safdie said he was uncomfortable showing his film at festivals or talking about it in interviews because he felt uncomfortable or naked, because the film was so personal. And I thought that was really interesting because we never really heard directors say that about their films. And that's my review of Pleasure of Being Robbed.